The problem, it seems, at tea time everyone agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but not in the mirror. Must be exhausting, always rooting for the end. I love that line. I'm so sorry, Taylor Swift. And Kanye West, I always recite those lines. I know I'm like copyright in trouble. I could be like in big trouble, but so poetic. Like, I act like I never told you. Kanye, like, I don't know. Sorry. I'm in trouble, I know. So maybe we'll look at my legs still feel like shit. Alright. They're like all vascular. They look garbage. You can tell where my foot's been broken and it healed all fucked up weird. So, like, it's all weird right there. I can't walk on it. So. Anyways, can I tell you about when I worked in a nursing home? Yeah. So I used to work in a nursing home for like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years or something like that, 2.5. Like I was introduced to this nursing home job by a friend of mine in high school, and she was like, "There's a job that we have as a dietary aide at this nursing home up here, around here, and you're more than welcome to apply for it." So I got the job. I was totally excited. I stayed there for like 2.5 years. I think. Great job. I loved it. Um, but I'd noticed things that I wasn't too happy about. And they weren't like bad things, really. It's just like about the patients. And whether, if you knew they were not doing well. I remember this one time. They say like life expectancy for the average human is about 80 years old. So if you hit 80, you're lucky. Anything like from anywhere from 70 to 80, you're lucky if you make it past that. Yeah, you're on borrowed time after between 70 and 80. So you're lucky to still be alive. So we started notice. I started when I started working there. I just thought, I'll do whatever I have to do. No big deal. I thought I was like a pissant. At first, like I didn't know what I was doing. So first they started me off teaching me all the dining service, like the dining room area, because we dealt with really rich old people. Apparently, these people were rich, very rich. And so I had to learn like napkin folding, like cloth napkin folding, dinnerware setup, like goblets and all that fancy schmancy dinner etiquette stuff. Name tags, cursive. But I wasn't real good at it. I just had to learn it. Make sure if the other dietary aide who wasn't there that day or something, I could take over. But they didn't really like a waiter. They liked waitresses. So they were like old people from like the 1900s to the 1920s. So they were old. I think they preferred waitresses over waiters. Except for one. She always seemed to love me, I guess. She always left me chocolate mints. But I started noticing that there was this one guy there. And no matter what I did for him, he was always upset. Like he always made me sweat. I was always sweating around him. Oh, I was so scared of him. But everything was just not perfect. It didn't match his expectations. I could have bent over backwards, eaten shit, and thrown up and licked it up. He still wasn't happy. So, whatever he wanted, I tried my best. Eventually, I got kicked out of the dining area. And when she came back, it was always a girl out there. But when I had to go out there, Anita would give me, I'm sorry, she'd give me chocolate mint. So I started asking, I was like, what's going on? Why is, and they're like, well, one guy, he just does not like you. Or something like that. They don't want you out there. Now the other dietary aides, the girls, they were all pretty. They were all pretty girls, but I was just like this dorky guy working there. Complete little douchebaggy kid, alright? So, I'd be relegated to, like, dishwashing the whole time, while the girls were out there doing the service work for all these very rich old people. So I chalked it up to old age mental issues, with old age. Because I knew he was past his life expectancy at that point. He might have been well into his late 80s by that point, if not 90s. So his next step was, because I knew he was always angry at me. Nobody else seemed to be too angry with what I was doing. But every time I was around him, he just but I just didn't understand at that time. I didn't understand psychoses, age, relation. But it was always this girl. I think he was in love with this young waitress. Maybe it was like, he felt like I was competition with him or something. Maybe it triggered a memory back in his time. She kind of dressed like, she looked kind of, she had an old style to her. Let's just put it that way, an old classic style. I think he liked her though, even though he might have been a little, I don't know. But I thought she was always out there, so, and I understood. But when I was working there, sometimes I was told that I had to deliver food to other units, and these were units outside of the facility. These are like homes, like assisted living homes. So basically, old people who were between the ages of, 65 to about whatever, when they just couldn't do it anymore, when they couldn't live like they would in a home, So it was like a test for them, basically. First you start out in these really nice little luxury homes that they have on site. I guess, probably not a mansion, but they're nice enough for the average person. And this is usually like, I guess, families when they start noticing something peculiar about their loved one's behavior. But anyways, I would deliver her like a little box of food when she wanted it. First time I did it, she stood there and just watched me, like, really scared. But I was like, here's your food, and I put it up, and she's like, put it on the table. I was like, okay. And then I took off real quick. I went back to the head chef, and I was like, why does that lady look so young? Like, she shouldn't be here, right? She looks too young. And she's like, well, they started noticing that she might have had some kind of, I don't know, old person disease or something. So I went there a second time, and after that it was done. Like, I never went back. I don't know who delivered her stuff after that. I don't know what happened. The story was over. After the second time I delivered it, I was like, bye, and then I took off. Just said it, did what she told me, like, put it on and left immediately. And that was it. So I don't know if she went into the next unit stage, which was like actual care units, where they would stay in the rooms, their own personal room area. And then they'd have a CNA come and help them, like if they needed help, like their daily habits. So she was awfully young. I think she was about 70 years old at the time when I met that lady who was living in the luxury home first. I guess it was a luxury unit, just to see how well she could take care of herself before, I guess, they get transitioned into the rooms. So, with the personal care system available. And then after that, it's the actual in-depth care unit where they just can't do nothing for themselves. And that's the scary part, I thought. I don't want to talk about that because that's the scary part, where they just could not help themselves at all. I never want to be like that. I saw things in there, I was just like, dear God, don't let me get to that point. It looks scary. It's not because of the unit and the nurses. It's just the condition of the old people at that point. You know they're on their way out at that point. They're getting ready to kick the bucket. Like, seriously, you see people dying in real time. So, yeah. I'd see these old people and I was like, that person is not going to make it in a couple of days. And at one time I went into that deep care unit or whatever, and then I saw this old man. Like he wasn't even really old. He's about my age, in his 50s or 60s, and he's smoking a cigarette outside. And I said, "Why is that guy here? He looks awful young." He's not allowed to smoke cigarettes, right? And they say he's not going to make it much longer. He doesn't have much time left. But yeah, the other old people, you knew they were on their way out. It was scary looking at them. I don't know if you ever saw, like, people just, like, suffering, dying in real time, slowly. Like, to the point where they can't even do anything. They're just shitting and pissing, and they can't even pick up the spoon. They're just eating slop at that point, pureed slop, just to make sure that they're still alive, if they can still swallow at that point. If they can't swallow at that point, you know, they're... So, I don't blame them, you know, they've maxed their time out to the point that it's severe at that point. So, I mean, they're just like drooling, like, I don't know, it's just bad. And I feel kind of sorry for the nurses because they don't really want to show people that, but it happens. I'm not saying they're all bad nurses. There's some bad nurses and there's some good, but like everywhere. But when I'd see these old people and they're just like shaking and like all like crouched, like it almost like their legs and arms are just like I don't know. They're making weird sounds and they're like, you could tell in their eyes they're ready to die. So. But yeah, you start to see like the degeneration of old people in nursing homes. I'm not a doctor. Like, I couldn't diagnose anyone. I couldn't say, oh yeah, it's this, and they need to this treatment and this whatever. I'm not a doctor, but I was observant enough to notice like the patterns that were happening. Like, first it starts off like, in the beginning, they live in these luxury homes, kind of. Everything's great. They go on walks, they do their dilly-dally, whatever, you know. Make sure they can still do certain tasks, you know, daily tasks. And then by that time, when they no longer can do that, they get personal care in the second stage, like middle stage, where they actually have more assistance, help with dressing, help with bathing, help with eating, help, but they can still maintain their kind of luxury lifestyle, you know. They go to the dining hall, they get their dinners, their care, whatever. But they still have like a personal assistant the whole time, taking care of them, you know. And then by the time they get into the final unit, it's like end time. Where I am. Unfortunately, I'm in the end time, so in life, I think. We'll see. Who knows? I'm like that old guy, or not that old guy, that guy that's about 50 or 60 in the unit, sitting in a wheelchair, smoking a cigarette, which is not allowed, they say, but they say he didn't have much time left. So, I agree with that. It's like, give the guy a cigarette at least, or a vape nowadays, you know. Poor guy doesn't have much time left anyway. He's like, it's sad seeing him there. He was just sitting there with his back turned towards me, smoking a cigarette, in a wheelchair. Like, yeah, I feel sorry for you, sir. That sucks. Now I know. Now I know what he's gone through. But yeah, by the time they get to like, you start to see certain things. And I don't know, maybe it's dementia, maybe it's Alzheimer's. I don't know. I don't know, it's those old people things. But then I started looking into Alzheimer's a little bit. And it started making sense to me a little bit. And I started doing things to check on old people, like certain old people at like what stages they might have been at. Because I knew like somewhere between the ages of about 70 to 80, they should already be in there, in the nursing home, at the luxury unit first. And if they can get through the luxury unit after 80, you'll start to see them in the middle unit. And then, if anything after that, they're probably going to be in intense care at that point, at the final stages. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've been around so many old people. Even like with the old lady that I used to help take out her garbage in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when we lived there. She always had a good mind on her, though. So, she was capable of taking care of herself, and I know she was past life expectancy. But she couldn't take out the garbage, she couldn't wash the windows, but she was at that point where she could do the dishes, and dress herself, and maybe bathe herself. I don't know, I think she had a personal assistant by that time. I don't know what the story was. But I always felt she should have been somewhere along the lines of middle care. Like her family should have given her middle care at that point. But I don't know their financial situation. That was back in the 80s, so I'm sure she's not even alive. But at least she'd give me like chocolate for doing like, menial tasks around her house, like throwing away the garbage, help cleaning up a little bit. So. She was a nice old lady, but I just help her with those things. Because I knew she couldn't do it. And my mom told me to go help her get all that shit. Because she can take the garbage out. So she'd leave me a chocolate bar on her garbage, or like $2 or something, $3 to go buy some candy. That's where I learned you could freeze milk. She said you can freeze milk. I had no clue you could freeze milk. No clue. I don't know. I still don't do it though, but I should, I guess. She taught me how to vote for the first time. I think I voted for her because she told me she couldn't push the thing all the way through it. So she sat me down and she said, sit here. I'm going to tell you exactly who I want you to vote for. This is like the first time I ever done it. I was like so scared that I'd mess it up. I think she voted for like George Bush the first or something like that. She was like a conservative, I think. I don't think she voted for Al. Who was it? Was it Al Gore at the? I don't think she voted, but it was like a conservative president that's probably not around anymore. I don't remember. Definitely wasn't Bill Clinton. I think he was the one I voted for my first time, but it was like way old. She's not alive. She was already in her late 80s. I can't imagine her being like 120 now. 140. Like, lucky if she is, though. But she never showed signs yet when I thought about it. She never exhibited signs of like Alzheimer's when I was working, and now that I reflect. She was never, those certain symptoms. But I noticed when I was working in the dining room at the nursing home here in Salina. Yeah, one guy, I couldn't bend over backwards enough or jump high enough. I think it's because he thought I was competition or something. Maybe it has something to do with like those old people diseases like Alzheimer's. He seemed calm around one girl, or one person, or the girls, but he was just, nobody else had a problem with me, I thought. They never came up to me and said, I don't like you. I mean, they saw me sweating and nervous as hell, so I guess they thought, this kid is trying to do his best to, he's already sweating and scared to death of us. And none of them argued with me. None of them. They all were like, thank you, can I have this? It was just like, waiter kind of, but not the other old guy. He was a rich old guy. I don't know if that had something to do with it. Just not being satisfied with anything from, the water doesn't have enough cold ice in it to, the salt and pepper is not, the calligraphy on my thing is just not. And I was like, I have no, like, control over certain things. I can't go to the fucking manufacturer of the salt and pepper company and say, such and such does not like the taste of the salt and pepper this week. But she never had a problem when she went out there and served it, so I wasn't allowed, so I'd wash dishes all the time. But I was always in that intensive care unit, just where people were dying in mass numbers. So I'd always be in there delivering food. That was like my thing, delivering food in that unit. Making sure everything was ready and done. But, yeah. Didn't deliver food to the luxury people in the home unit. They're usually pretty young, in my opinion, you know. They would even get driven all over the place, so they had their own like little show floor thing. Personal care I already knew they didn't like, whatever, I guess they didn't like me, except for the old lady that gave me a chocolate nip. And by the end unit, I was always in there doing work in there with food delivery and making sure all the trays go. And watching these old people that were just, by tomorrow, if they survive, they're lucky, kind of deal. I don't feel very good today, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of understood Alzheimer's, but not really. I'm not a doctor. So I just kind of gave it within this. Maybe within this stage right now. You know, things like memory loss. I can't satisfy you. I can't run to Morton's fucking manufacturing company, sir, and tell them you just do not like the salt they have this week. I'm sorry, I'm not a calligrapher like that. I didn't draw those cards. I know it's kind of embarrassing going through that, so I don't like to. But that's just my aunt used to work in the nursing home. So I'm sure she understood that. She used to tell me stories like that. About like them being really angry and them taking it out on him. It's like you have to be careful. They get really upset, really angry. Then one time she showed me this guy in the nursing home. He was about in his 30s, about his mid-30s. Apparently, he was going to die, too. Because he got in a drunk driving accident. He was drunk and was driving. And he had a hole in his neck. And he was looking at me, just trying to walk. And she said, he's going to die soon. I remember he was looking straight at me, smiling, standing there. He had long hair. He was like a metalhead kind of guy. Yeah, I think he liked 80s rock. And I was wearing a Sister Sledge shirt that said, "We are family." And the whole time, I remember the whole fucking unit. I was a little kid at the time. They were all saying Sister Sledge, "We are family." The whole unit. I remember that. They were trying to make him walk or something. He was holding on to like the wall rail though. He was like, but he was smiling at me. I was scared, seeing the hole in his neck. The whole time my aunt's like, "It's okay. It's okay. He's really nice." Honey. Yeah, I never want to be like those people at the end. That's scary. I'm sorry, I just don't want to be bedridden like that and shaking and convulsing the whole time and just drooling and slobbering. They're trying to gauge if you can still swallow food while you're just barfing it up the whole time. I don't know, it's this idea of trying to keep everybody alive all the time. I don't know. Unless you go like, I don't know, technology, I guess. Technology might be great, but it's sad. No, it's life. I don't know much about Alzheimer's or other old people's diseases, but this is what I try to do. I'm sure it might help. Like anyone that's within the ages of my age whose parents have passed the 70 to 80 mark life expectancy age. This is what I kind of do to gauge that. Just to see if they're okay or not. I'm not going to disclose everything, but these are the type of things I do. They're not harmful in any way. They're just like observations. Because I've been in a lot of psychological observation things, like tests. I've done a lot of those psychological tests. So. Anything from racism to whatever. I've done a lot of them. They always want to know how to pick your brain, I guess. God, my legs hurt today. I've been sleeping nonstop for the past couple of days. I was just saying that's the bad side. Oh, my stomach hurts. So maybe I need euthanasia now. I'm starting to shake too. Starting to shake. I really would love some food. Like totally, like bread, fish, and sparkling grape juice. I'd love that right now. I was supposed to have it like a couple days ago. I don't know. I'm supposed to. At least the Buddha taught me how to make curry. Out of nothing. A vegan curry. Buddha taught me that, so I've been eating that. So it was like, after my exorcism, I did from Buddha. Buddha's like, this is what you do. I was like, wow, it turned out good. I think I can eat this for a couple of days. I always notice when I listen to certain people, they have this weird resonance in their voice. I guess there are only certain people are familiar with that resonance. Not everybody gets to know it. certain resins. I don't know if it sets people off. I've heard it before. Not everybody does. Usually those people have really good advice. Really good advice. Really good wisdom, too. They always have this, like, resonance. I don't know. I've only heard it, like, in real life. I would say in real life, like, maybe once or twice. Like, in real life. Like, that's why I have to be here again. Even when I don't want to. Because I hate it. But every time I hear that resonance, it keeps me going. Don't know why. I already know I'm in that final stage of that nursing home. Hopefully they give me a vape or a cigarette. I'd be pissed. You want to know what an Alzheimer's person acts like? I'll be pissed in that final stage. I'll be so fucking pissed. Your ass is just, you're gonna get a fucking Morton's fucking manufacturing right and tell them I don't like their salt this week. Kind of pissed. I mean, fucking Morton's is like the best salt out there, right? It's like the high-end salt. It's been around since the 1920s. It has that little rain girl on it, doesn't it? I love that. I love that. I love the old one, like from the 1920s. It's so iconic. It's such an iconic. I love looking at it. So iconic. It's totally from the past. You don't see shit like that anymore. I don't know if they still do it. I haven't bought Morton's in years, so. I used to buy it just for that picture. Because it was just cool. Remind me of the old days. You know, when you're a kid and you watch those cartoons of like Disney cartoons and it's all from like the 1920s. I used to like that. You know. Did the moon go away? I thought the moon went away. Yeah. The moon went away. I swear the moon was there. Fuck. Where did it go? Did it take off? Yeah. Where's Harry Potter? I don't hear Harry Potter. He ain't out here tonight. Uh-oh, everybody's out and about. That looks like my maintenance guy's truck. Be like, are you still up and about, dude? Go hang out with your kids. What time is it? Like, where are you guys going? Walmart? McDonald's? Like, if you're going to McDonald's, at least film me a couple. I'm like putting you on candid camera. You're famous. So. Anyways, I don't have any more cigarettes left. And the moon's gone. And Harry Potter's not out. Apparently Harry Potter doesn't have any words for me. No. And Buddha, I'm gonna eat curry here pretty soon because I'm hungry as fuck. I don't know if I got that weird parasite. Anyways. So, yeah, I guess old people, they say when they have Alzheimer's, they'll try to memorize certain things so that they don't forget. I don't think it works after a while. It's like trying to memorize the eye chart. You know, eventually they just switch it around on you. So, you'll never know. So, anyways. I don't know. This is just my observations. Say if I had pattern recognition, so. All right, so this is on Google AI. The average age of a person to move into a nursing home is between 81 and 84 years old. Over half of all new residents enter a skilled nursing facility at the age of 85 or older. So, all right. Life expectancy. Human life expectancy at birth is about 72 years globally and 79 years in the United States. The average has doubled since 1900s due to better health care, clean water, and vaccines. So, about this time, I think, around here, this age, right here, I think is the best time. This, you need to start looking into it, but around this time, definitely. You're already past life expectancy at that point, so you're on borrowed time. Alzheimer's. Abusive or aggressive behavior in Alzheimer's disease is a common symptom of brain changes, usually driven by fear, confusion, frustration, or unmet physical needs. Rather, the intentional malice. It can include verbal outbursts, shouting, swearing, or physical actions, hitting, throwing. Recognizing triggers and keeping everyone safe is essential. So, I can't go to Martin's. Sorry, sir. Alzheimer's disease symptoms start with mild short-term memory loss and trouble finding words. As the brain changes over time, signs get worse. They include losing track of time or places, poor judgment, mood shifts, and trouble with daily tasks. Forgetting recent events or new info. Notice that. Repeating questions sometimes. Losing things in odd spots, not too bad. Trouble with basic planning or bills, that's discussion. Middle stage, getting lost in familiar areas. So, yeah, if you live in a place forever, like, I don't care, but you've lived there like most of your life, you should be at least a little familiar with that area, even if you haven't been there. But you've done it 1,000 times. You shouldn't forget any part of it at that point, even the first time or second time. Second time, third time, I could show you. But when you start asking me questions like I'm not sure which, yeah. So this is, and when they start reaching this part, not knowing surroundings, trouble. But I guess that's when they get into the final stages. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. People with Alzheimer's disease do not specifically think they are living inside a movie, but brain changes can cause them to mistake things they see on television or past memories for current realities. They may believe that events shown on screen are actually happening right in front of them. All right, so yeah. Old memories can feel more real and present than what is happening today. Yes, people with Alzheimer's disease frequently experience suspicion, delusions, and paranoia. As the brain changes, these symptoms are part of what doctors call dementia related psychosis. To the patient, these false beliefs feel real, not like a joke or dream. So, I don't know. I guess when I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Believing people are plotting against them, poisoning their food, or that strangers are in theft, believing a caregiver, I don't know, stealing shit. I'm not a doctor, but yeah, delusions. This is what I've noticed too. Yes, dementia patients can become fixated or obsessed with specific people, such as a spouse, a family member, or primary caregiver. This happens because the physical brain changes cause confusion, intense anxiety, and loss of short-term memories. So, yeah, they become obsessive compulsive too. So I've noticed that because they get comfortable, like they feel like there's only one person out there that can meet their needs. So it's sad. I don't know if they abuse them or what, but they might. Who knows? So they become fixated. So, oh no, here's my advertisement for. So, I'm sorry. I can't change that salt, but it's still the coolest. Yeah. I like the older one though. Let's see. Photo image. Where's the old one, not the new one? Like back in the day, 1920s. Did they have one like, I don't know, where's it? This one. That's a cool one, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I always thought it was a cool idea. You don't see things like that anymore from the past. It's all cool. I don't know, 1930s, 1940s. Which one was cooler? Is there one like the 1910s? Let's see. Where did it come? Ah, here. This one. I like this one. That one was cool. Yeah, that's the one I remember. That's from the 1960s, eh? I had no clue. I'm such an old kid. Let's see. Do you guys remember the salt, Morton salt? I remember this one. This is the one. I thought it was from the 1920s. Must be wrong. Isn't there like another one logo? I can't remember. When it rains, it pours. I don't know. I think they're cool pictures. It's unique. Hmm. Yeah, I remember that logo the most. I was a kid. I grew up around, I guess, the 70s and 80s, so I guess they didn't change much back then. So. What's this? This is how I feel in life. Anyways. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So, bye.